Have you reached a point in life where it feels like you've just disappeared? You walk into a room and no one looks up. You speak, and somehow your voice seems to pass right through people. It's as if turning 60 made you invisible. If that sounds familiar, you're not imagining it, and you're not alone. I'm Dr. Justin Keller. I've worked with thousands of adults navigating the emotional and physical changes that come with age. But this feeling of being unseen, this silent erosion of confidence, is something no one prepares you for. Today, I'll show you something unexpected, not a supplement, not a mindset trick. A simple, gentle massage ritual that can completely shift how you feel about yourself, starting tonight. Backed by science, rooted in tradition, and deeply personal, you'll learn why so many people over 60 feel invisible, and how it's affecting your brain and body. The surprising role of touch in restoring confidence and calm. A step-by-step self-massage that reconnects you with your own presence. How this small daily habit can reshape the way others see you too. And here's the key. The very first technique I'll show you is the most powerful. So don't skip ahead. Watch to the end. It matters. Also, I'd love to know, where are you watching from? Type your city in the comments below. Let's see how many glowing souls we have around the world. If this resonates with you, please like the video and subscribe to Glowing Age. It helps me create more of these real, valuable lessons just for you. The quiet crisis. Why so many over 60 feel invisible. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like no one really saw you? Not just ignored, but invisible. You speak, and people talk over you. You enter a store and the clerk looks past you to someone younger. You start wondering, did I stop existing when I turned 60? You're not imagining it, and you're definitely not alone. I'm Dr. Justin Keller. As a urologist, I've spent the last 15 years caring for adults across the age spectrum. And I can tell you, this quiet sense of invisibility is one of the most common and least talked about experiences people over 60 face, especially women, and the science backs it up. A Yale study published in the Journal of Gerontology found that nearly 60% of adults over 60 report feeling ignored or dismissed in everyday interactions. Not because they've lost their ability to contribute, but because society tends to idolize youth. And what isn't young slowly gets pushed to the edges. It's not just a cultural issue, it becomes a psychological wound. What starts as being overlooked at work or by family can lead to deeper emotional patterns. Studies have shown that perceived social invisibility is strongly correlated with lower self-esteem, increased anxiety, and even higher rates of depression. In fact, older adults who internalize ageist attitudes are more likely to experience cognitive decline earlier than those who feel valued. This is not about vanity. This is about identity. Your presence matters. Your story matters. But when the world no longer reflects that back to you, it can start to feel like you're fading, slowly, quietly, and without anyone noticing. And here's where it gets even more personal. I've had patients in my clinic, strong, capable, brilliant people, who start whispering their questions instead of speaking up. They defer to younger family members during appointments, even when we're discussing their own health. They say things like, "I don't want to be a bother," or "nobody listens to me anymore anyway." That's the real crisis, not aging, but being made to feel that aging erases you. But I want you to hear this clearly. You are not a shadow of who you once were. You are a deeper version of yourself. Wiser, quieter maybe, but not smaller. The irony? Aging should come with more respect, not less. More presence, not invisibility. You've lived through decades of change, pain, joy, and triumph. That deserves to be honored, and it starts with reconnecting to your own sense of value. Invisibility doesn't begin with wrinkles. It begins with a world that stops reflecting back your worth. And the most powerful thing you can do is start seeing yourself again, even if others haven't caught up yet. What if I told you that the simple act of daily touch could help with that? Not from someone else, from you. I'll show you how that works next. But first, just know this: you are seen, maybe not always by the world, but by those who matter. And more importantly, by yourself. And that's where healing begins. The science of touch, how it restores confidence and connection. What if I told you your skin isn't just a protective barrier? It's your emotional lifeline. As a physician, I've treated countless patients with chronic stress, low energy, or what they describe as just feeling flat. And for many people over 60, it's not a medical condition. It's a touch deficiency. Yes, that's a real thing. Touch is one of the most powerful and overlooked healing tools we have. And yet it's the first to disappear as we age. Think about it. In childhood, we're hugged, carried, patted on the back. In adulthood, we're touched through relationships, parenthood, even casual social interaction. But after 60, friends pass away. Children move on. Physical intimacy often changes or fades, and with it, so does touch. This isn't just about missing affection. There's hard science behind what happens when touch disappears. Your skin has specialized nerve fibers called C-tactile afferents. These respond not to pressure, but to slow, gentle, intentional touch. Think of a soft caress or a calming hand over the chest. When activated, these nerves send signals straight to the brain's emotional centers, particularly the insula and the orbitofrontal cortex. These areas are linked to self-awareness, emotional regulation, and yes, confidence. Touch stimulates the release of oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. It lowers cortisol, your stress hormone. It slows the heart rate, deepens breathing, and activates the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's natural calm state. But what's most fascinating, you don't need someone else to do it. In a study published in Psychosomatic Medicine, researchers found that even self-touch, deliberate mindful massage done by the individual, can replicate many of these same effects. Participants reported not only reduced stress and improved sleep, but a measurable increase in positive body image and emotional confidence. That's huge, because this means you don't have to wait for a partner, a therapist, or anyone else to validate your presence. You can start to reconnect with yourself through something as simple as the way you touch your own skin. And I'm not talking about rubbing lotion on quickly after a shower. I'm talking about a sacred, slow practice. The kind that says, I see myself, I care for myself, I'm still worth this moment. When I guide patients through this practice, even those who have never considered massage before, the transformation is often immediate. They soften, their shoulders drop, their breathing slows, and sometimes they cry, not from pain but from recognition. Because for the first time in a long time, they feel truly present in their body again. Touch, when done with intention, reminds the brain, I am here, I am alive, I still matter. So if you've been feeling invisible, not just to the world, but even to yourself, this is where we begin. With skin, with breath, with a few quiet minutes of contact that you fully control. In the next section, I'll walk you through a simple, deeply calming confidence massage you can do tonight, with nothing but your hands and a little oil. It might feel small, but what it unlocks is anything but. Sacred self-connection, the confidence massage ritual. You don't need a spa, you don't need expensive tools. What you need is privacy, intention, and a few uninterrupted minutes with yourself. Let's walk through the confidence massage ritual, a gentle practice I teach to many of my patients over 60. It's not just about physical relaxation. It's about emotional restoration, reclaiming space in your own body, feeling safe and worthy in your own skin again. You'll want to choose a warm, quiet space. Sit or stand in front of a mirror if you're comfortable, not to judge yourself, but to see yourself. Not your age, not your wrinkles, just you. Start by choosing an oil. It could be something as simple as olive or coconut oil from your kitchen. If you prefer, use lavender or rose oil. Both have calming effects and are often well tolerated by mature skin. Warm the oil slightly in your palms. Just rubbing your hands together for 30 seconds creates gentle heat and brings circulation to the skin. Now begin the ritual. Start at your chest. Place one hand over your heart, the other over your belly. Breathe in deeply. Feel the warmth of your own touch. Say to yourself out loud or in your mind, I am here, I matter, I belong in this world. Then move to your face. With gentle upward strokes, trace along your jawline, up your cheeks, over your temples. Don't rush. This isn't grooming, it's connection. Behind the ears and at the base of the skull, these areas are rich in nerves tied to emotional memory and tension release. Apply slow, circular motion with your fingertips. Breathe out slowly. Now to the shoulders where we carry decades of tension. Use your opposite hand to knead the top of each shoulder. It may feel tender. That's okay. That's your body asking to be heard. Stay with it. As you move downward, you can include your arms, forearms, even your hands, especially the palms. The palms are full of sensory receptors and are often neglected in self-touch, yet they're central to emotional grounding. If you only have 5 minutes, do 5. If you have 20, do 20. But during this time, say nothing critical to yourself. No evaluations, no corrections, just presence. The repetition of this ritual is what matters, not how good you are at it. Think of it like watering a garden. One session doesn't bloom the roses, but regular care changes everything. I had a 72-year-old patient, recently widowed, who felt like her body no longer belonged to her, like it was a stranger. I taught her this practice. She started doing it every night just before bed. Within 2 weeks, she said something I'll never forget. "I don't feel invisible anymore, not to myself." That's the power of this. It's not about reversing time. It's about reclaiming your place in the present. Re-establishing your presence not just in the eyes of others, but in your own nervous system, your own heart. You're not just touching your skin, you're rewriting a story, and your body listens. What you'll start to feel, and why it's so powerful. The first thing most people notice after just one session of the confidence massage isn't dramatic. It's subtle, quiet, but unmistakable. You might feel a little warmth across your chest, a deep exhale you didn't know you were holding, a sense of stillness in your shoulders, or maybe, for the first time in a long time, you feel here. Present, not caught in the past, not worried about the future. Just in your body, calmly, completely. That's not just your imagination. When you perform gentle, mindful self-touch, your brain begins to activate a network known as the default mode network. This system is connected to self-awareness, memory, and introspection. It's the part of the brain that helps you process your life story, and more importantly, feel like the main character in it again. One of the most common outcomes I've seen is this. People begin to recognize themselves again, not in the mirror, but in how they feel. They start to reclaim their rhythm, their confidence, even their sense of joy, and there's a reason why. Chronic stress, loneliness, and emotional invisibility increase cortisol in the body. High cortisol over time dulls your immune system, clouds your thinking, and numbs your emotional responses. But touch, especially consistent, safe, and intentional touch, helps regulate that hormone. And as your cortisol drops, your natural neurochemistry begins to reset. You start sleeping better, your mood lightens. Your posture even changes because your body no longer feels like a burden to carry. I've had patients tell me, "I don't know what changed, but I feel lighter." Others say, "My thoughts feel less noisy." That's because physical touch triggers the release of serotonin and dopamine, your brain's natural antidepressants. These chemicals aren't just mood boosters, they're dignity restorers. And here's the most surprising part, it ripples outward. When you start seeing yourself again, others begin to respond differently to you. You speak up more. You take up space, not aggressively, but confidently. You hold eye contact longer. You smile without hesitation. And people feel that energy, they mirror it. They recognize it. It's the difference between shrinking back and stepping forward, between hiding and glowing. One of my patients, a 68-year-old retired teacher, shared something powerful after doing this practice for 3 weeks. She said, "It's not that people suddenly treat me differently. It's that I walk into a room like I deserve to be noticed. And somehow they do." That's the internal shift we're aiming for. Not arrogance, not performance, just rootedness. Confidence that's quiet but unwavering. That doesn't need to prove anything. That simply is. This isn't cosmetic, it's neurological, emotional, spiritual, and you don't need permission to begin. You only need consistency. A few minutes each day where you say, through your own hands, "I am worth this care." In the next section, I'll explain why this practice works so deeply, not just because of biology, but because it taps into emotional healing rituals we've known for centuries, and how that healing becomes a way of life. More than skin deep, emotional healing through gentle rituals. By now, you felt how this simple massage does more than just relax your muscles. It softens something deeper, and that's no accident. Across cultures and generations, we've known the power of ritual. Not in a religious sense necessarily, but in the deeply human need for rhythm, intention, and meaning. Self-massage, when done slowly, repeatedly, and with presence, isn't just a wellness practice. It's a ritual of reclamation. It tells your nervous system you're safe here. It tells your heart you are still worthy of care. It tells your memory you haven't disappeared. Because this isn't just physical. It's a conversation between body and mind. When we stop engaging with our bodies, when we only touch ourselves in clinical or rushed ways, we reinforce the idea that we're functional, not emotional. That we're here to maintain, not to live. But when we bring warmth, slowness, and curiosity into that space, the body listens. It remembers. Many of my patients describe an emotional release, not always tears, but something gentle. A memory surfacing, a wave of compassion, sometimes even laughter. That's your inner world responding. Because healing doesn't always come from talking. Sometimes it comes from the silent language of touch. In fact, the oldest healing systems in the world, Ayurveda in India, traditional Chinese medicine, even ancient Greek practices, all viewed self-massage as part of daily life. Not indulgence, maintenance, emotional hygiene. They understood something we've lost in our modern rush. That slowing down, touching the body with love and respect, was how people stayed mentally strong well into old age. And now we're reclaiming that wisdom. You're not doing this to become someone new. You're doing it to return to who you are underneath the noise. Confidence doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. And this practice brings you to that whisper. The still, steady place where your identity lives, untouched by age, untouched by opinion. Think about what happens when you extend compassion to someone else. You soften, they relax, connection opens. Now imagine giving that same compassion to yourself, daily. Think of what that begins to rewire inside you. And here's what I've seen time and again. The people who commit to this ritual, even for just a few minutes a day, start showing up differently in the world. They stop apologizing for their space. They stop shrinking to accommodate others. They start smiling at themselves in the mirror, not because they look younger, but because they feel recognized. That's the power of emotional ritual, not flashy. Not instant, but transformative. You're not just applying oil, you're restoring visibility. Not so others can finally see you, but so you can see yourself again fully and kindly. In the final section, I'll help you integrate this into your life. Not as a one-time trick, but as a lasting practice you can shape around your unique rhythm, even on the hardest days. Integrating it into your life, making it a glowing habit. The most powerful habits don't demand discipline. They invite devotion. And this ritual, the confidence massage, isn't meant to become another task on your to-do list. It's not homework, it's a gift you give yourself, quietly, repeatedly, until it becomes part of who you are. But how do you make it stick, especially in a world that's always pulling you in a dozen directions, even in retirement? Here's what I tell my patients: start small, but start deliberately. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create one. Pick a time that already belongs to you. For most people, that's either just before bed or first thing in the morning. Both work beautifully. At night, it unwinds the nervous system and signals safety before sleep. In the morning, it sets the tone for the day, not just physically, but emotionally. Create a dedicated space. It doesn't need to be elaborate. A small tray with your oil, a folded towel, maybe a candle or a favorite photo. When you return to this space regularly, your brain begins to associate it with calm and self-respect. It becomes a sanctuary. Even 5 minutes is enough. Some of my patients keep a small bottle of oil in their bedside drawer and do just the heart and face portion of the massage each night. They say it's like pressing reset before bed. Others combine it with journaling or a simple mantra, such as "I am allowed to take up space," or "I still belong to myself." There will be days you forget, days you feel too tired or rushed. That's not failure, it's life. But here's the beauty of ritual. The more often you return to it, the more it begins to pull you back on its own, because it feels good. Because it makes you feel real again. You don't need to perform this for anyone else. You don't need to master it. The goal isn't to feel fixed, it's to feel held. To turn inward with kindness, and to do so regularly enough that it becomes part of how you move through the world. Some of my patients eventually make this part of a larger evening routine: soft lighting, slow music, even a bit of gentle stretching or prayer. Others keep it short and practical. Both are equally powerful. What matters is that you make it yours, and with time, something shifts. You'll notice how you sit differently in a chair, how you look people in the eye, how you say no without guilt. You'll notice how your body, once a source of pain or embarrassment, starts to feel like home again. That's not a trick. That's not placebo. That's self-recognition. And when you live in a world that so often tries to overlook or rush past you, this kind of deep, intentional habit is not just self-care. It's resistance. It's a declaration: I still matter, I still choose myself. So begin tonight. Light a candle, warm your hands, and let this ritual become the quiet, glowing center of your days, not because you need fixing, but because you deserve tending, always. You don't need to disappear as you age. You don't need to be louder, or younger, or different. What you need is space to reconnect with yourself, with your body, with your worth. This massage ritual isn't about pampering, it's about power. Quiet, steady power that reminds you you still belong here. Fully, try it tonight. Light a candle, take your time. Let your hands say what words can't. And if this video helped you feel even a little more visible, even a little more grounded, then please, like the video, subscribe to Glowing Age, and share it with someone else who might need this too. We're not fading, we're glowing together.